Moving to Canada anytime soon? Getting ready and packing your stuff? Take a break, because I've made a list of things you need to do before arriving to Canada. And make sure to watch this video till the very end to learn the tips and tricks of Miss Yulia. Let's go! First things first, prepare all the documents you need. It doesn't matter if it's for the border, for your future life, for anything. Get all the documents ready, so when it's time to apply for things like work permit, PR, whatever, you will have them with you. So what documents should I take? First of all, your passport, obviously. Your birth certificate, because you might need it for your permanent residency if you decide to stay in Canada. If you're married or have been married, don't forget your marriage certificate or divorce certificates, so you can prove that you have or you don't have a partner. If you come in with your children, don't forget birth certificates of your children, adoption certificates if they're adopted, so all the papers regarding your kids. Don't forget about your diplomas, certificates. If you have a degree, don't forget your transcripts of the courses you've taken. That might also be handy, A, for your college or university, B, for your permanent residency. Don't forget your medical records, your prescriptions, if you're wearing glasses or contacts. Don't forget that. If you need some kind of medication and your life depends on it, then don't forget those. As for vaccines, don't forget to get your card from your hospital or from your medical center, because when I moved to Canada, I didn't have it with me. And now my vaccination card is lost, so I have to do all my vaccines all over again. Not very nice. If you are a driver, don't forget to get your driver's license with you, or you can even get international driver's license. Canada does not require you to have an international driver's license, but just in case, I would take it with me if I were you. Some of the documents might be required immediately. Let's say if you move into studies, you will need all your papers, your acceptance letter, your financial documents, stuff like that. But some documents like, again, birth certificate, like your transcripts or diplomas, you might need them for your future journey in Canada. So when you're going to be applying for permanent residency, they might ask you for those papers. And please don't forget that two official languages of Canada are English and French, and if your documents are in different languages, you will need to translate those. You can do that either in your country, you can do it in Canada, you can do it online. I found a translator online. She had like a license in Canada that she's authorized to translate from Russian to French and English. I just messaged her. I literally sent her an email saying I need to translate my papers. She did it in 24 hours max. The second thing to do is to get travel insurance. If you come in, let's say, to Canada for your studies, you will have insurance when the course starts. But before that, you have this like week, 2-3 weeks when college or university does not cover you. So you'll need to get travel insurance. If you come into work, if you move into Canada, you will need insurance as well before you can apply for free public health care. Again, this travel insurance pays in case of an emergency. If something happens to you, at least you won't need to pay like thousands of dollars for your thing. Private insurance is necessary because the processing times, unfortunately, are unpredictable. It can take somewhere from like 3 months up to 6 months, and if you're not insured during this period of time, well, you will have big bills to pay. Make an effort to learn English or French. If your languages are not that great, you can take language courses online, offline, as you wish, but please make sure to learn the language of the country you move into. First of all, you will not survive without the languages. Second of all, if you start preparing, start learning the language beforehand, you will feel more comfortable when you move to Canada. If you're enjoying this video so far, don't forget to subscribe to my channel. I post a lot of content about education in Canada, education abroad, traveling, and much more. But also, subscribing to this channel is free. You're not losing anything. And let's go back to the video. Another thing to do is to plan where you'll be staying. Are you staying at a hotel? Are you renting an Airbnb? You have a place to stay in Canada with relatives or friends. You need to have a plan before you move to Canada, because people are always like, oh, I'll find something when I go there. Yes, but you will still need to live somewhere for, let's say, 2 weeks or a month or so. So make sure to book everything in advance, but also don't do it last moment because the price is going to be super high. What's the point of doing that? If you move into Canada in like 2 months, book your accommodation now. Another thing that you can do, you can prepare yourself for getting a job in Canada. Yes, of course, you cannot start applying for jobs until you have a social insurance number, until you move to Canada, until you get your work authorization, but you can prepare for your job search in advance. You can gather all your educational papers, again, diploma, certificate. You can update your resume. If you haven't seen my video, you can watch it here. I've talked about Canadian resumes, so it would be perfect for North American market. You can get some letters of references from your past employers. In Canada, it pretty much depends on the company, because some companies would ask you for reference letters. Some companies be like, just give us emails or like phone numbers, we're gonna contact your past employer and ask questions about you. If you have some kind of licensed profession, you'll need to do your research and see how is your license treated in Canada. Maybe you'll need to get a new one. Because I know, for example, for doctors in Canada, you need to get a license in the province where you work in, because if, let's say, you move from Ontario to like Manitoba, you will need to get some kind of like new qualification. And you can also start looking for jobs. You can like save them, maybe even apply for them, but you will need to inform your potential employer that you move into Canada, let's say in 2, 3 or whatever months, and you can start working at that time, not like right away. The next thing to do is very important, and I've said it 1,000 times and I'm gonna say it 1,000 times more. Check the weather, because Canada, it's not like, you know, Spain or like Portugal when it's like nice outside. No, literally last week it was like dry. The next day, like I think Friday, snow was everywhere. All my friends were sending me pictures saying like, hey, it snowed, it's like super nice outside. So please make sure to check the weather before you go to Canada. I would normally check the weather like a week before and then like a few days before, because if you come to Canada and you don't have warm clothes, well, you're gonna be cold, my friend, you know? Especially if you come in during winter, especially if you come in during fall, the weather changes like... it changes, okay? And speaking of warm clothes, the next thing to do is either buy warm clothes in your country or allocate a budget so you can come to Canada and get a warm jacket. Because first of all, jackets take a lot of space in your luggage, on you, like they just like all bulky. But if you don't want to bring all this like huge jackets with you, at least get some kind of thermo under like clothes, whatever they call it, like thermo pants, thermo sweaters, so at least you'll be warm when you arrive to Canada. And another thing to do is to get something that reminds you of home with you, because first of all, you will feel homesick, like 100%. So make sure to get your favorite mug, or maybe like a candle, or your favorite stuffed animal. I don't know. When I moved to Portugal, the things that really made me happy were my mugs, because I love my mugs. They just like, I don't know. I brought my mugs and my candles, and I was just like, you know what? It feels like home. It feels like Canada. I'm like Montreal. I love these things. Same when I moved to Canada, I brought like some kind of stuffed animals. I don't remember, it was like either a dog or a cat. I don't know, they just made me so happy. So like, not alone. I don't know like how mugs can make you not alone, but you know, you will feel homesick. Get your favorite thing so you can have a piece of home with you. And here are a few tips if you move into Canada anytime soon. First of all, if you're planning to bring a lot of cash, the maximum is 10,000 Canadian dollars. If you bring more than that, you will need to declare that. And don't forget, it's not only the Canadian currency, but it's also the foreign currency. If you bring, I don't know, 5,000 Canadian dollars and 5,000 euros, that's gonna be more than 10,000 Canadian dollars, so you'll need to declare that. The second thing to know is don't arrive too early. First of all, you don't need a month or two before the start of your, let's say, classes. If you're coming to study, 2-3 weeks is more than enough, even like 1 to 2 weeks. First of all, the officers, like the visa officers, they might have questions like, why do you arrive 3 weeks before your classes start? Second of all, you cannot work during that time, because you can only start working as a student once the classes start. Meaning, if you're planning to come early, work, not happening. You are not allowed to. And another thing is, you'll need to pay rent for that amount of time, or if you're staying at a hotel, you'll need to pay for a hotel. So 2 weeks is optimal. Like, I've arrived to Canada, I think a week before my classes start, maybe even like a few days. So don't stress out, don't come too early, because then you're gonna be like, what do I do? Because the school starts literally like in 2 weeks and like I don't have anyone here. Like, what do I do? And if you still have questions, don't forget to check pre-arrival guide made by Government of Canada. I'll leave all the links in the description box down below, so you can always take a look, check, read. Again, Canada.ca has a lot of answers to your questions. So if you have those, you can always go to the website and find the answer you're looking for. And this is it for today. If the video was helpful, you know what to do, and I'll see you guys next week. Bye!